Hi there and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to go over yet another pile, and I'm just going to start calling these videos my little piles of stuff to kind of take us through still some of the 70s before I really hit into the Tusk scrapbooks. But these are little piles that have yet to go into my scrapbook photo albums, but I just want to talk about them because I've shown you some stuff and I want to show you some more, and I just thought it was worth showing. Some of the things that I had shown you earlier was a bunch of photos. I think they were in tandem with an article about Fleetwood Mac's appearance at Madison Square Garden, and I had these little tiny photos of Stevie in a fur coat that I told you were from a proof sheet, and there were little pictures of them. Well, I found the proof sheet, and I had mentioned the rest of them were with John, but I was actually incorrect, and they were with Mick. And this is the proof sheet. They're really hard to see, but I believe that is with Bill Graham. Pretty sure that's Bill Graham and Mick Fleetwood. Then over here, barely kind of make them out, are these little shots here of Stevie. You can kind of see why I had scanned them and blown them up a little bit. I think this was one I had in there. This is definitely one. You see, I had it marked from a long time ago. Then there's Chris and John. And that one's a weird little, I forget what you call it, like dual image. But yeah, they're just so small that's why I had blown them up. And the thing had some bad wear on it and such. As you can see, it's kind of damaged. They're all by Ken Reagan, which I didn't realize that. I should have given the credit to him. And it doesn't have a date on it. Yeah, so I have no idea. But I just love all the writing and stamps and stuff on the back. So that was just part of it. I think, like I said, I had the numbers of the ones, what you had seen earlier in the video were probably the best ones out of there from the negatives. But yeah, I just wanted you to be able to try and see the rest of the sheet. If there's anything in there you could see. Yeah, it's just not going to come out good. The lighting for this is really bad. But anyway, so there was that. Then there was another, this was another page I was going to start off with. I had also shown these photos, and this was actually an outtake that was on the sheet music. All the other ones I'd shown, Christine didn't have her arms out like that, so this one was kind of cute, and I didn't even realize that. Next to the last, I had 3 pictures, and the third one that I had next to it was a picture of Lindsey Buckingham, and I thought, oh, let me take that out and put this one in, but it's too big to lay in like that, so it's going to be its own page. And funny enough, since the song, as most of you know, was written, Christine was still married to John at the time, and during Rumors, of course, and You Make Loving Fun was written about her affair or beginning relationship with Curry Grant, who was their lighting director. But Christine told John that it was about their dog or something like that, and just how much she loved her little canine companion. Which I thought was funny. But this was a really cool photo I had found of Curry that I had from that manager's personal effects. And I think we just lost Curry not too long ago. So it's just a really neat original photograph, again, from her stuff. I wrote his name on the back, so I knew who it was. So I was going to put it with that because I just thought it was kind of apropos to put, so somehow scrapbook it with them. And I have some other photos of him, but they'll come up in another video because they're with the manager, John Courage, Curry Grant. There's a whole bunch of the Fleetwood Mac family there, but again, just having this really unique, and it's a really good shot of them. Original was just really a neat item to have. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's next on my work list. Another thing, again, from that same collection, this was a photo that I had received when I tell you about that box of stuff that I bought eons ago. And this was all photos that went into Mick Fleetwood's 25 years of Fleetwood Mac coffee table book. This was a photo that went in there, and this was a little, part that got put on there about what page and what size it was going to be and such. And this is a photo, one of many I took to Mick Fleetwood when he was doing his wine, I called his wine tour, that I had him sign. I just thought it was a really cool photo. And this photo was by photographer Eddie Garrick, again, which I've mentioned a couple times. Not too many of his photos do I have, but I have brought up his name. And funny enough, again, in the personal effects of that manager was this postcard that came from I'm not sure, the Solomon Islands, I guess is where he was at. And it was to Fleetwood Mac and the girls in the office, care of Lady Lumley, which I'm not sure who Lumley is. I know that name, but I can't place who it is. I'm in Los Angeles, and it says, "Best wishes from a tropical island paradise. Doing a film here on sharks and shark worshippers. Don't want to come back. Eddie Garrick." So it was really neat that the photographer had sent stuff to Gabby and, Fleetwood Mac, I guess. So Gabby would have, shared the information, probably taken this in and shown the band, hey, Eddie sends his regards or something like that. So I thought this was really cool. Again, I've had this forever, and I knew that name, but I did, put it together with one of his pictures. So that was going to be another scrapbook page to where it goes together. So I thought that was kind of cool. More stuff from that manager. There's so much, but this is just small little amounts here and there. And I just happen to have some stuff right here at my fingertips. This was a card. It doesn't say what year, and I can't really make it out. I have some photos of Gabrielle getting married, and she's really hard to find information on. And I have gone to several people. One, I had just an awful, I think I brought that up in a prior video, getting information from that person. And then another person I was trying to be in contact with to find information about her passed away. And, that Fleetwood Mac family is getting smaller and smaller. So it's really hard to find information on this lady. But by the photos of what looked like her getting married, it's still definitely the early 70s. Again, when I tell you there's photos of her in, I'll show you one here. It's stuff I'm going to show later, but I'll just show you one, for example. Here, like this lady, I know I'm pretty confident is a assistant to Stevie at one point, but this is Gabby's house, and see how in the background here, the photos. And then this was another, let's see here. This is Gabby with the guy that I think her husband, and there's that other picture of Fleetwood Mac there. But anyway, from these photos, it looks like, she got married around, I would say 77, 78, but, just like kind of by the age of the photos. So this card that I have here, which is a really neat card, a little Christmas card, season's greetings from Salisbury. And it says, Gabrielle, what's your news? How's married life? And with love, Biddy. Biddy is Mick Fleetwood's mother. So she was sending cards to Gabrielle. So it's really cool to have this little piece here. Biddy. I actually have a couple letters from Biddy, and it's just so adorable. She was always really nice to Gabrielle. It seems like they had a good relationship. And she just seems kind of like that mom type person who, if you knew her at the time, she probably just would have been everybody's mother. I imagine she was just kind of Stevie to Christine, just to anybody she met. With as nice as she was to Gabrielle, it just strikes me as such. This was a cool letter that was sent to Gabrielle. If it be truly, dear Gabrielle, if it be truly a better thing to give than to receive, then the week before Christmas is a fine time indeed for me, as well as it should be. After all the efforts you've given have contributed greatly to all that's gone down this past year, and why should all the pleasure be yours? Besides making me happy, the Christmas bonuses enclosed speaks a warm and well-deserved thank you and congratulations, and goes part of the way to letting you know how much I appreciate the job you've been doing. and it's accompanied by nothing but the very best of holiday wishes for you and yours. And this was from Mo Austin, who was the chairman of the board, president, I would say, of Warner Brother Records. There's quite a few pictures of Stevie with Mo Austin, and I have some pictures of Gabrielle. So this was just a cool letter and this little, I guess, autograph, if you will. But I can't imagine, because this was at the peak of Rumors when she was the manager. So I can't imagine what her bonus was, because everybody jokes, right? The joke is about how everybody got the good bonuses for Rumors, but everybody saw their bonuses going in the toilet when Tusk was going to come out. Everybody's joking about that. So cool little stationery paper. But just a really neat thing. And I can't imagine. I mean, she kept this for years, because again, what a success and an amazing place for not only a woman to be, but, for her, of course. In the 70s, it was a competitive market with mostly men. And I'm not trying to be all girl power, but, it's a fact that just there weren't that many women who were managers or working at such high positions in the 70s. And so I imagine this was really a big treat and really an honor for Gabrielle. And I think it's a great letter, and it's sincere, and it's really nice. I would have been thrilled to receive it. So just a really neat little piece. And then I'm going to wrap it up with this last thing that, again, was part of the auction. And this was a cute little letter here. Gabrielle and Don, I think Don is the guy's name. It is not dated. And it's just stationary. Letterhead is from Washington, D.C. And it says, "Dear Gabriella and Don, thought you might like to know how things are going. This is after the second gig. All is going well as the picture shows, but I bet we're in better shape than y'all. Love, Fleetwood Mac and Sherry." Oh my God. Well, the really cool thing about this is I can't remember which is which, but that here and here is Christine McVie's handwriting. And I think this is John's and Lindsay's or something. I matched it up in the past, and I'm sorry that I didn't prepare myself for that information. But the fact is, it's written by all but Stevie, unless she did the little, doodly bits at the bottom, but I don't think so. But definitely Christine's handwriting in this portion here, and the "oh my God" at the bottom. So just again, a really super cute piece. I wish I had the photo. I'd love to see what the photo said. But, so they're writing to her from the road, which is, again, a really sweet thing, a sentiment from the band. And just a really cool, this was in an auction, and actually it wasn't. Or maybe this one was. I'm not sure. But a lot of the pieces were just going for nothing. I mean, people were, there's somebody I was competing with in the auction, going for the photos to flip them and such. But, the person had no idea what this was, the other letter, any of that stuff was, whatever. I mean, but it was just disappointing to me, because chances are this would have all ended up in the garbage, or, oh, that's cool. And just nobody would have known. And to realize whose writing it was and such, and that, 3 of the band members had written this stuff down. I'm pretty sure, this is Lindsay, I think, John, and Christine. So again, just really cool little piece, and I'm so grateful that I got it amongst all this other stuff. And that's, again, this is just tip of the iceberg on stuff from Gabrielle's and some of the pictures and such that I have, but just a neat little piece. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, a short video, and it is 100,000 degrees outside. It's not, but Portland has had a hell of a heat wave, and it's murder. And it is about 10 o'clock at night, and it's just not getting any better. I still have the fan on here, and it's still cooler in the house than it is outside. I cannot wait for autumn and fall. I hate to say it. I know a lot of you are probably big summer fans, but I am not. I'm just not a summer girl. So, yeah. So enjoy this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you think any of this is cool. I mean, I've been showing a lot of this stuff, and, I know that a lot of people were brought here, and I encourage people to come to look for the pictures, but I'm just curious if any of you think this other stuff is neat, or what you think of it. Let me know. And thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you next time. Everybody have a great night. Bye.